Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Hillbilly Think Tank, and I'm coming at you live from Tunnel Hills here in Hardin County, Kentucky. Y'all just want to say that here at the Hillbilly Think Tank, we know that we live for life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And as a combat veteran running for magistrate here in District 3, this weekend is a very sacred weekend for me. I started off at the Gold Star Families Memorial Wall at Nature Park, also known as Veterans Park, right there next to the Vietnam Veterans Wall of Hardin County. And as I've shared, someone that I served with was a hospital corpsman named Daryl Enos. He's one of the stars on that wall. I'll never forget his smile, his character, his love of his family. And man, y'all, we can't lose anymore. It was an amazing, amazing service there today. So, y'all, let's get into it. We know here at the Hillbilly Think Tank that we have to have government of the people, by the people, and for the people. We have to have it because we have a federal administration right now that is not committed to anything but the billionaire class. It's all about the billionaire class and what they can get and squeeze from us while they give nothing in return. But as we approach the 250th birthday of America, and I can't believe that I actually remember the 200th birthday when I was a wee child. But as we approach this birthday, we have got to get back to government of the people, by the people, and for the people. No more of this billionaire class only. Hey, it's great if you're a billionaire, if you're paying your share. If you are raising up those behind you. Just like when Plato came out of the cave and the story of the cave, talk about folks who've been trapped in there forever, didn't know what it was like to be out in the light, the sunshine, and freedom. We have a duty to go back in the cave and pull those out who are stuck in the cave. And that's what we're here to talk about tonight. So, are we about to go back to war? Is it going to be war with Iran? Or is it going to be war with Cuba? We know that we're setting it up, a war in Cuba. He wants to see if he can do one better than JFK did, if he can do better than the Bay of Pigs. Man, well, we got some breaking news. Let's roll to it, although I'm hesitant to because it seems like everything is staged whenever we go look at something like this. But apparently there have been gunshots heard outside the White House. So let's go to the live
next couple of
news.
hours. But as I was mentioning, Sydney, I mean, this is an area where people walk through a lot. No matter what the weather looks like, you're always going to see people who want to pass by the White House, tourists, especially on this, busy weekend. This is a holiday weekend, Memorial Day weekend. So I don't know. We still don't know
Thank you,
who
appreciate
were
that.
the people there at
Thank
that
you.
time when gunshots were heard in the area. But I can tell you if there were people nearby, there was definitely a concern and
Uh-oh.
an alarm and just a scary scene. And just to hear that for anybody, it is very scary. So we still.
Very scary. How is it actually very scary? I mean, this president canceled attendance at his own son's wedding so that all the generals, all the staff, everyone could leave whatever they were doing and head to the White House this weekend. We know that. We've already been talking about it. He left his golf game in Mar-a-Lago to come spend the weekend at the White House, which he hardly ever does. It's so we knew that something was spinning up. We know that Israel is trying to urge us to do more strafing runs, but what's actually going to happen? And is this something else staged to fit in with some scenario they're trying to build for us? I mean, that's what all any of us can ask anymore, right? So let's just think about that for a bit. How convenient. They're already on lockdown. Everybody was already locked in the White House for a major meeting over war. So, yeah. Well, let's hear what else they got to say.
The outer perimeter there, Gate 17, as it was described to me, near the Eisenhower Executive Office building. Somebody came up and brandished some sort of a pistol. I'm told that it was a pistol, in fact, not a long gun or a rifle or anything like that. And the alleged gunman got off at least 3 shots. And the United States Secret Service, who obviously prowl that area, some things might not be obvious to people walking by, but certainly to the people, guarding the perimeter. They responded to this. They're trained to respond to that gunfire. And I'm told, and this was the quote that was given to me, that they took the suspect down. Quote, they took him down. So this is a male suspect. I'm also told that somewhere in this process that a civilian was struck. We don't know how many shots that the Secret Service or other law enforcement might have gotten off. Again, they'll have to go through the ballistics evidence of this, and we don't know the condition of the gunman.
Well, y'all, that's about all I can really take of that one, because I just happen to be watching one of my favorite reporters, podcasters, who happens to also be a veteran. He's from the Green Beret community. He's been on the teams, and he was just already reporting today. Number one, it looks like they're trying to spin us up for Iran. And if they're not trying to spin us up for Iran, we know they're spinning us up for Cuba. This whole indictment of, Raul Castro, 94-year-old old man, they're spinning us up for something. So, funny thing is, I can go back right now and show you where Valhalla was calling it. I mean, I watched just before this was announced. I watched him calling, hey, we're going to get some kind of distraction. And here we go. We got a distraction. But check it out. He called it just, only earlier today.
Because again, the biggest thing that Donald Trump needs is distractions. And unfortunately, what I think we're going to see for the next literal 2.5 years is distraction after distraction after distraction to keep everyone remaining unfocused away from the one thing that we know he wants to keep hidden more than anything. That is the rest of the Big E files.
Yeah, and that's just it. I mean, not just the Big E files, but the whole fact that he got us into an unwinnable trade war with China, a country that we made a great giant manufacturer, because Nixon and Reagan did as much as they could to get all the companies in the US to send jobs over to China so that they could break the labor unions in the United States, so that they could pay Americans less than nothing, because the jobs are gone. And as this so-called trade war and tariff war showed us, they're not coming back. So, and if anything, China's going to end up not having people employed over there, because artificial intelligence and robotics is going to replace humans worldwide. So he needs to distract from all this, his failure with the tariff war, that his tariffs failed to do jack squat for a single one of us. We didn't get a tariff check. We didn't get any more jobs from the tariffs. It didn't pay off the tax breaks that he gave to all of his billionaire buddies, including himself. So we've got to be distracted as much as absolutely freaking possible, especially in places like right here in Hardin County, Kentucky, where our farmers can't afford the fertilizer that they need in their fields. They can't afford the diesel that has gone ungodly high. You know, the only time we saw it go this high in the last administration was when Russia invaded the Ukraine. And that was Russia and Putin's fault. That was going to happen. Worldwide, it happened. Had nothing to do with President Biden. But this president started a war which shut down the Strait of Hormuz. This is clearly his fault. So let's be distracted from it all. Every chance we get, let's get distracted from the e-files, like Valhalla was saying, and let's get distracted from the fact that this president creates problems after problems after problems, and then wants you to be excited when he does a half-assed job of halfway, if even that, fixing the problems that he created himself, that he manufactured. And yet, oh yeah, we still want to blame it on Joe Biden. Yeah, as if. So Zarin says the American empire is over. Yeah, so be it. Means less wars for empire if that's true. The Handy Bro. All right. Yeah, that's great for the next life. But I'll praise Jesus and go ahead and, like the preacher said, pass me the ammunition. So, y'all, it's up to us. No one's coming to rescue us. It is all up to us to take what we know, what is clear, and that is that we have a grifter in chief. You know, we're talking about putting more airplanes in the air. Well, here's how many we've lost so far. 42 U.S. aircraft lost or hit in Iran war, the congressional report says. You know, that is billions of dollars. 29 billion, it says there. We've tallied up before, up to about 42 billion, actually. So, yeah, if that's not enough, well, how about this? Remember, it was like pulling teeth to get the Republicans to fund the 9/11 Victim Compensation Fund. But it took them no time at all to create a $1.8 billion insurrection slush fund to pay off the illegal fees of the January 6 rioters who beat cops. They cracked a female cop's skull open, and she has been handicapped since then. Killed a cop. So many other cops were beaten nearly to death, had to be medically retired. And we're supposed to think this is a great and wonderful thing because the president calls these insurrectionists patriots. I'm not buying it. Patriots to me are the farmers here in this county that are struggling to keep their family farms afloat and are doing it by the grace of God and their grit daily. That to me is a real patriot. Real patriots to me were those police that were there to protect the Capitol building. Patriots to me are those today that I celebrated at Nature Park here in Elizabethtown, Kentucky. Like I said, also known as Veterans Park. It's Doc Enos. He's one of the stars on the wall. He and I were hospital corpsmen together with the Marines. We were at MARSOC together when, he passed away. And I still just, those are the heroes. And this is a dishonor. You won't house homeless vets. You cut the providers at the VA so that I can't get the quality care that I was getting under President Biden's Care in the Community plan. Remember, that started under him. Didn't start under this president. It wasn't voted on under this president, that is. It was voted on under the last administration. Now, we allowed Doge to come in, slash VA funding, slash VA jobs that take care of people like me, take care of people like many of whom the survivors were at the ceremony this morning to honor those dead heroes. And we're going to say that this is good, not in my book. All right, y'all. I hope that you all are having a great honorific weekend. That we remember the reason for this time. I see the sun's breaking out. I'm going to get out there and walk the dogs and enjoy some of this greenery and sunshine. And, you know, y'all, we got to remember, united we stand, divided we fall. Love our neighbors as ourselves, and we cannot be divided. So y'all have an honorific Memorial Day weekend, and remember all those deployed, because they're still bearing this for us. And let's also remember, keep your powder dry, stay sharp, keep thinking. Bless your corazón. Have a great weekend.
Soundstripe.
Their great-grandfather didn't grow sour because they were tender. He grew them because